We're going to go over the Desmos project. First, I'll talk about the rubric, which can be found on page 35 of your homework packet for this. I'll just go over it real quick. We have four conic sections: circles, hyperbolas, parabolas, and ellipses. You need to have all four represented in order to get 5 points. Anything less will get you 0 points. You have to have at least 12 or more conic sections. So there are types of conic sections, and then you need to have at least 12 conic sections. So, like three circles, five hyperbolas, two ellipses, and two parabolas would add up to 12. So that would be what that means. Variety of non conic sections. It is also required that you include non conic sections as equations, and that they all fill a substantial role in the picture. Uh, Down at the bottom of the screen are all of the types of functions that we have done this year. You have shading or motion in your figure, and we'll show more of what that looks like when we go through examples, and that it's complex and interesting to the figure. That would give you 5 points in that category. And then aesthetic appeal, very appealing versus not appealing. And then there are other categories that could go in the middle. So that would add up to a total of 25 points for your project. So here are some examples. Notice that the um, the equations are stuck in folders. So we have folders, and there are some instructions like go into the beam and press play. So if you go into the beam and press play, that can stop or continue to start the beam. So that's something that is kind of beneficial. So this is just an example of something. This has motion and color. Um, so here's another example of a situation. One thing that a lot of students tend to do is they put some sort of JPEG or other picture on the screen, and then they use that to help themselves trace what they're going to do. So notice again, everything is uh, carefully labeled and such. Um, and then they have a lot of things inside of each of these labels. If you look, there's 398 equations or motion things or folders or other things in this student's work. Here's an example of Air Force One. Air Force One is pretty diligent here. One thing you'll notice is that sometimes you can turn off the grid or other things in order to make it work out a little bit better for you, if that works better for your picture. Uh, Now, one thing to notice about this student's work is they actually did have 50 little stars on there. Um, so here's an X-wing fighter. Once again, student put a picture in the back so that they could trace it. There's a Yoshi head, it was traced from a picture. Here's a Yoshi with some coins moving around. This is pretty interesting. Taj Mahal with some movable water. Uh, this is this is primarily shown just to show the types of detail that the student put in. There's a high amount of detail in the picture, and it looks very aesthetically appealing. Here's some music notes which move up and kind of show this curve around the instrument, around the clarinet, which uh, at the clarinet, the student put a picture in to kind of help them. Here's Central Perk from Friends. And again, they used something to help them. And here's an example of a Ferris wheel that has students or people moving around in it. Um, So those are all just quick examples of things.